Mark Rogers TV talking Alabama football with the Crimson Tide back in the national championship game for a third consecutive year. The first two times, of course, against the Clemson Tigers, but they've disposed of the Tigers this time around early and now meet the Georgia Bulldogs. The last time Alabama, in fact, was an underdog, technically an underdog by Vegas, was back in 2015, a game that they played at Georgia against the Bulldogs, and they roughed up Mark Richt and crew 38-10. We bring in Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama. Join him on his show, The Way It Is, Fox 97.9, for the best in Alabama and SEC and sports talk overall. Stephen, how you doing tonight?
Doing well, and Mark, you are absolutely correct. That was the 2015 matchup where Alabama, a slight underdog to Georgia, Crimson Tide getting the 38-10 victory between the hedges in what would be known as the washout.
And that was the washout. Why?
Why was it because it was raining, and Alabama just washed Georgia out in the rain.
Okay. I know there was at one point a game at Athens in which they got pumped up for Alabama to come to town, and they had the blackout ready for Bama, and that didn't work out so well for the Dogs either.
That was 2008. Boy, what a year that was. The battling of the physical receiver, A.J. Green, Julio Jones. That was nice.
All right. Should be a good one coming up this Monday night. Of course, we saw two very different style semifinal games with Oklahoma and Georgia marching up and down the field. Big plays galore all over the place. The passing of Baker Mayfield against the 1-2 combination of Nick Chubb and Sony Michel, providing offense all over the place versus the rock'em sock'em and toe-to-toe and rock fight that was Alabama and Clemson, that the Tide finally shook the Tigers after a 10-6 game into the second half, in which the Tide made the big plays defensively to dispose of the Tigers quite easily there in the later portion of the game. So before we start to dissect this one, Stephen, some injury news that's going to affect Alabama on both sides of the ball.
A lot of news that will affect the Tide. Well, not a lot of news, but the main news piece here is we have Anthony Jennings, who will not play. Anthony Jennings, outside linebacker, a knee injury suffered against Clemson in the second half. A guy that had a great game, 5 tackles, 4 solo stops, 3 tackles for loss. Did have a sack and was a part of that critical quarterback hurry to force the interception off the hands of Kelly Bryant into the arms of big defensive lineman Deron Payne. So Anthony Jennings in the second half was helped off the field, wincing in pain. Knee injury was seen. Cameras panning to him on the sideline, very upset, aggravated. The MRI did come back. Anthony Jennings, tweeting out via social media he will not play in the contest. And then also Lester Cotton, offensive lineman, right guard, got rolled up a bit against Clemson. His MRI has not been revealed yet, but as of today, J.C. Hassenauer was seen practicing in his typical spot with the first-team unit at right guard. So Alabama knows for a fact that Anthony Jennings will not play. Still waiting on a confirmation of Mr. Cotton's MRI. If it turns up negative, should he play, it'd be a big sign for the Tide. If he does not play, then Hassenauer, the senior out of Woodbury, Minnesota, who's got a lot of experience, doesn't have the sheer size as Cotton, but a lot of experience, a technically savvy guy on that front line, he will get the start.